brief moment in time, Earth had everybody here except for 4 people. So, Blue Origin takes the name because it is a stall.
The exit gates, they're open.
Did you look at these, Steve? These are the softcrete for the pool.
That's one of the options.
Yeah. Is it durable?
Lasts 20 years and it's repairable. There's a local place that does it, but they said like we're busy and our prices are high. Cause I was kind of talking about this. She said they would be a couple thousand more expensive, but it's the same softcrete product like that. She said it's a good product. It's porous, so the water will just dissipate through it and sheet off the sides. That would be the best one, but it's also the most expensive of all.
Yeah, I know.
So,
but if you don't have to do anything
it
for
lasts.
20 years,
Well, you have to seal it every 2 years. It costs $500 to $700. But the other ones,
what kind of a sealer? A rubber sealer?
Yeah, they come out and do it. Whatever company can come out and do the seal on it. They clean it and seal, pressure wash and seal. But the painted decks, those knockdown finishes, need to be painted for $1,000 every few years. You know, so technically, that one would be cheaper in the long run, but it's more upfront, a nicer finish for sure than just a solid color. But it is more expensive, and I don't, that's always a challenge. Hard to justify.
Yeah, 41.
But in 5 or so years after you've had to paint that pool deck, really once, the first time you paint it for a couple $1,000, then it becomes the same price, and then the next time you have to paint it, it's now cheaper. So, but
hey, on your potholing thing, did you mark this dip out here as you come in the gate? Or do you come for the speed bump? Is that marked? There's a dip out there. If you're going to fix it, you need to fix that dip too.
I don't know where you're talking.
On the main highway down
highway
here.
Coming in.
I think, didn't somebody do a cold patch? Do a cold patch down there. But
it's got,
if it's on the speed hump,
it's up this way, coming up this way before you turn into the thing. There's a little dip right in here somewhere. Like you hit all the time when you come.
When you turn into this parking lot?
No, when you're on the main highway, coming up, going back to the cul-de-sac. There's one through. I'll get it again.
You should go out and put your initials on it.
Yeah, I'll do. I'll put a spray paint on it.
I'll give you some spray paint.
Some cold patch. I can fix it.
Well, you could have fixed all of them with that. Why are we even paying?
He just made
I don't know which one is going to haul it out first. 1, 2, 3, 4, the articles, amendment thing. I'm trying to follow him, when he starts talking. So we're going to do this.
I gotta go back and look because
the next one is scheduled in September, so they want that by the end of this year. Yeah, this won't happen.
There's an amendment that the lots all the way around the lake can't have houses. And I know that probably won't be.
Keep in mind that
but what if in the future they won't put houses in? I think it should be in there. Hey, Jerry. Good, how are you? So I had a crisis yesterday with my new printer.
Okay. I was like, well, uh-oh. That's not
So
good.
I had to change ink in it. Do you think I could figure that out? I had to get on the internet and go look.
That's what I do for everything.
Oh my word!
Change the ink in it
Yeah.
already. You done inked it out.
Well, all you got was
Yeah, you get the
it was just a little thing.
Yeah, we bought extras with ours.
Yeah, I bought extra, so I did figure it out. I'm like, oh. Ugh.
What kinds you get?
Yeah, that's how I do everything. I fix cars and motorcycles and everything off of YouTube videos. All right. We are live on the YouTube,
Okay.
but we got a couple
Morning.
minutes here.
10 o'clock already.
Oh.
9:51.
I'm just going to check and make sure that our YouTube sounds clear. So I'm going to unmute us so we can
I
hear.
see a big nose and a bald head with glasses. There he is. See?
Oh, there he is.
Smiley
Okay,
face.
We are not muted.
Gary looks like he's in good mood.
John has no head.
Yeah, he has. Like I did that one day at home, and everybody said, "All we see was top of your head."
Yeah. Just that little.
I forgot I was sitting
shine.
there thinking, "Oh."
All right, we are on YouTube. We are live, and everything is actually really clear. Steve, the microphone, the distance that it's been the whole time you've been talking, is perfect. Don't move it too close to your face like we normally have to.
No, that's what I
and it's been perfectly clear on YouTube.
I'm okay.
You might need to go a little closer so we can hear you. I didn't hear you, but they'll be able to tell us because if it's clear for them, it'll be clear on YouTube.
Okay.
But
Okay.
we're good, and I could hear them loud and clear.
I can't talk about Pat, huh?
Well, Pat can hear you.
I don't want to talk about Pat then.
There, he's back.
Pat's a really nice guy.
Yeah, I can hear you guys great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear you too perfectly. So, and I just checked YouTube, and it is the clearest it's ever been in history.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Gary, good morning.
You need to smile.
Good morning.
Okay. There we go. We were echoing. Now we're not echoing. All right, so we're live on YouTube. Good to go. Got a couple more minutes, but everything is set up and ready to go.
So what did you do to the microphone system? It's picking up the audience, the works in there.
Can you hear everyone else talking?
Oh, yeah.
Pull my tooth out.
I don't know. They're turned up pretty hot. If I get close, I know it kind of muffles me. How do I sound at this distance?
Yeah, real good. You could back up and be fine. You can sit back in your chair. It'll pick you up.
And he come in and whack.
Yeah.
Boy, that was it.
That was it.
All right.
Yep. Feel a little pressure.
Well, when we
So you
start,
can
we'll just
feel
tell
the
everyone to be
pressure.
quiet. I don't know why it's picking up everything in the
And
room,
then,
but
poof, it's
That
gone.
was it, you know.
it's picking us up,
He said
so
it's out.
good enough.
Yeah, I'm not complaining.
A couple get these, and then Friday, hopefully everything goes all right.
Yeah. Time's coming.
Trying to get her to flip that house. Like Florida, when we went up there and he told us that. Like,
Oh, yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
had a couple more people calling a lot.
Really?
I'm like, sorry. I mean, that, like I said, people.
I wish John would advertise.
Well, that's what I say. You know, I told him, I said, but now everybody's calling. They want like December through March.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, I'm thinking, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's, yeah.
Well, if we don't rent it soon, nobody's going to want it.
Not as far as I know, that's, maybe not winter, already done with and, and stuff. She's like, okay,
Yeah.
I can hear you. I can hear you, Pat.
Okay, I didn't know if I unmuted my mic.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Good, John. How you doing?
Running the big 3-0.
Doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah, loving the upper west here.
Are you up in Oregon, Utah?
Oregon. And in fact, we like it so much we've already booked next year in Washington, the year after that back in Washington. So
where the fire was. There's fire.
Oh, good.
yeah.
Is there?
But heading to Utah in September. So Ogden,
Oh,
Uh-huh.
and then Tennessee for a few weeks, and then we'll be back. Summer's going quick.
I'll say. Ain't kidding.
Hey, John, how are the
They all
fires
go
up
quick.
there?
How are the Watts?
How are the fires?
Hasn't affected us, so I'm not sure where they are in the state, but we haven't seen them here.
15-year warranty.
Yeah, he said that they're lasting 20 years,
All right.
which is about as long as they've been installing that current product.
Oh,
Yeah, 15-year warranty, but they're lasting longer. But they haven't. It's only been around since the 90s in that current,
in that
or
form.
since the 2000s or whatever, in that current form. So
The kicker is if they honor the warranty. That's the
If they're
kicker.
still- if they're still in business,
yeah.
that's a
Honor it.
good point.
That's
This
the
guy's-
kicker.
That's a huge company, that Soft Creek, Florida. He's got many locations in
Morning,
Canada
Pat.
and one office in Hollywood that he's doing down here. But he said this is doing half. All the businesses in Canada don't equal like half of his business that he's doing in Florida,
Wow.
or they equal. He's just does so much work. But how much pool decks are you doing in Canada? Do they have swimming pools up there?
I think it does get warm.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was gonna say, yeah, that would be. I'm sure there's no waiting up there like there is down here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you see the average pool price in Sunday's paper that guy was talking about?
No.
If it's 70, they figure 150. How they've doubled around, going and doubling, and when you can get on the list to get them done a year or whatever and stuff, and how things are
Really?
going up around here. Yes, crazy.
Dang, I'll cancel my order.
I mean,
I was just about to get one
I
installed.
mean, it's crazy. Some guy had just put his out asking $15 million for his house there on, I can't remember if it's Naples or Marco somewhere.
Wow.
That's what gets me when you see that paper and you read how many of the $1 million ones you sold.
I sell it.
Or selling.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, just like that one campground, they sold for $3 million and they turned around and sold it for 14.
Yep.
A lot of money out there.
Yeah.
Sure is.
Oh,
Hang on, Charlie.
hang on, Charlie.
Don't hurt the back.
Back up.
No, we're gonna take it off.
All the way up.
Okay, down. Yeah.
Hang on
2
there.
pins it goes on. No. Yep, never bring it back. Trying to get it forward so it's in the picture. It comes apart, and that's the problem.
Comes apart.
Yeah, but where's it stuck?
Go to the church auction, get one of them old puppets.
Again, if we had to.
Keep going, Charlie. Okay, lift it, baby.
Yeah.
It's not lifting.
No, let's take it off then.
I got the bottom.
Okay, what are we trying to do? It slides like that? In between those front pins or on? Oh, hold on. You're not in between.
You're not between them.
Supposed to go between them.
Oh, hold on. I'm not
No,
between.
you're between them.
Okay, you are.
Bring it
The
front.
back up.
this goes on the top or the bottom?
There you go.
Well,
Goes
it's
on the top.
that's just pure YouTube gold right there.
There's no reason for that to come apart anymore, is there? Two screws and quick shot.
We'll put up the tutorial later on how to fix the podium
Yeah, right.
because we just nailed it.
That's
Perfect.
okay. How many did it take? 3.
That's YouTube gold.
10 a.m. and Pat, we're all good on this end. All the mics are working. Everything is good. So we're ready when you are.
I'm gonna screw it now. We don't
Or
want it.
Judy, whoever's running the.
I'm gonna screw it now.
He's gonna run it today.
There's no reason to come apart.
Dwayne
It's
is
called-
not here.
Screw it.
Everyone but Dwayne is here.
Yeah. He must not, I don't know what happened. He said he didn't get the notice, but
He asked me for the link earlier. I sent it
Yeah, I
when I
know,
sent
but,
it out.
he wanted to know what time it was, but we had it in the agenda you sent out. All right, let's get started. He'll catch up.
If, I'll try to send it to him again and see.
I'll give him 30 seconds.
Oh, there he is. Dwayne's here.
He is?
Yep, he's joining right now, but he
Okay.
admitted from the waiting room, so we're good to go in a couple seconds. There he is.
Okay.
I think we're good to go.
All right. We will call the HOA Board of Directors meeting for July 20th, 2021 to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance
to the flag
Well,
of the States of
United States of America,
to the republic,
the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
one
nation, under God,
liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call. Gary,
Yeah.
Joe,
Here.
Judy,
Here.
Judy, John,
here.
Steve, and Dwayne.
Here.
Okay. We had an opportunity to review the meeting minutes from May 28th. If there are no additions or corrections, can we have a motion to accept them?
Motion to accept the meetings.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, under financial, as of the end of June, we were under budget by $99,985. However, there are some big items that will be coming up pretty soon, but it's still a good position to be in. So we're doing pretty well this year so far. E-Progress update from the developer. Dwayne, you have something to add or?
Well, as those who are actually out in the resort right now, you can see that we've got quite a bit of activity ongoing that got started the last couple of weeks. We're engaged in doing the utility installation right now and doing some of the initial site grading. The dirt hauling is due to start at an intense level sometime this week. Right now we're on track. We have decided, because we got some delays in manpower and supplies because of the construction market is just nuts right now. I think most people are probably read in the media about how everything is busy as heck right now. That what we're going to probably do is we're going to phase the construction. That is, we'll focus on getting the amenity area and the first 76 lots done by the end of December and certified, ready for occupancy. And as soon as that work is completed, then we'll immediately roll into the second phase, which is the other 61 lots. And we anticipate we'll have those finished and ready for occupancy by the end of February. It's going to get really busy. So, we've already had some people got excited. We had some trucks come through that had to carry an especially wide load this week. I did talk with David in advance of that so that he was aware that, we'd need to do that. Again, 99% of the truck traffic will come through our construction entrance. And beyond that, our sales campaign is kicking into high gear this month with the energetic real estate market. The reservations are now actually starting to pour in. So, we're in pretty good shape sales wise. And I guess if you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer.
I don't. Anybody else?
I'm good. Thank you.
Thanks, Dwayne.
All right.
Okay, under governing document rewrite update, we've received the draft. It's now being reviewed by our attorney and the board. And once the final product, the final draft is ready, we'll schedule a series of workshops with the community to discuss what the changes are and how it's going to affect the rest of the park and the operation of the park. Next, under that, an update on the Barlow litigation. After our second and lengthy mediation hearing, I'm happy to report that the matter is now closed. We've settled, and while the terms of the settlement are confidential, I can tell you that Mr. Barlow will no longer be in the park. He has a short period of time to clean up his lot and get it listed for sale. If you do see him in the park, please give him a wide berth so we don't have to restart any other issues. We ended up settled because it was getting to the point where this week our legal bills were really going to start to go through the roof. We were going to start depositions that would run the rest of this month through August and part of September, and then a jury trial in November. And the insurance company was really pushing to get this thing behind them because they put, I think, their last count I heard, they put over $50,000 out in this. And all the attorneys, including the mediator, agreed that even if we succeeded in winning a trial, the probability of recovering our legal fees from Barlow would be slim to none. So we would just be throwing good money after bad. The initial suit was to stop the nuisance, stop the distraction, stop the harassment, hopefully get him out of the park, which was the end result anyhow. And we just cut the bleeding. So hopefully we'll be out of that mess.
Pat, you might want to say that he didn't get 10 cents from us.
No, he didn't get 10 cents from us.
Get 10 cents.
In fact, he had to pay us $1,800 in back fees, and he's got to pay all his maintenance fees on his lot until it sells. No, we didn't give him any money. All right, maintenance. The pothole and asphalt repair update, David.
Yeah, the pothole repairs, they said they would be out here the second week of the month because the asphalt plants are closed at the beginning of July for 10 days where they apparently clean everything out. And both plants in town apparently do it at the same time, according to two of the different companies we talked to. So they said they would have been out last week. I did speak with him, and he said that they'll probably be starting on Friday, weather permitting, and the whole thing will probably only take them a few days. They're going to come in and try to just get it all done pretty quickly. But we have, I think, 30 or 40 separate small areas. And right now we are scheduled for the rejuvenation, but it'll be probably 2 months or so before that takes place because we had to wait 30 days after the potholes were repaired. So potholes should be done by the end of next week, weather permitting, and in another 6 to 8 weeks, the roads will be nice and pretty.
All right, David. Next item, the ongoing saga with the pool deck. David has sent out a couple of quotes. We had one vendor that raised his bid considerably, We've got a couple new ones, and David had made a recommendation. You want to discuss that, David, quickly?
Well, yeah, my recommendations are really just based on timing to try to get it done when our pool is done to minimize the closures. These two on our list, the ASAP bids, they can really work with whatever schedule the pool company needs them to work on. So it's two different products. One of them is a textured sort of, it's called a knockdown finish, similar to those stucco walls of this building. And it's a painted deck that has to be repainted every few years. And the other product, there's a couple samples in here, is Softcrete. It's a rubberized coating that covers everything. It's porous, so the water drains through it and off of the pool deck. Lasts, pretty long. They say the warranty is 15 years. They're saying they're getting closer to 20 out of it if it's maintained properly, but that's as long as the current product has been around. Price is a little bit higher. It's definitely the most expensive one on the list, but after you paint the pool deck for a few $1,000s every few years, this one should end up cheaper in the long term, barring any issues that come up with the product itself. That again, they say it's repairable and it does have a 15-year warranty, but tough to always to choose the most expensive product on a list. So,
David, this is Dwayne. Can you tell us what the range of prices were? Because I'm curious about it. Because of course we're putting in a pool deck in Laguna Caribe, and so this would give me an idea whether your prices are as good or bad or whatever is what we're getting.
Well, the most expensive one on here is $41,000 for roughly 4,000 square feet, and that does include most of these prices, or most of the companies broke out the removal of the current delaminating pool deck, which is between $7,000 and $10,000, which you wouldn't have that part of it to deal with. But the most expensive is $41,000. Our cheapest paver quote, I think, was $43,000. And the lowest bid we got was $24,000, but this company hasn't been on site. They used Google Maps and some pictures to try and give us a bid, and it says it's subject to change and all of that, but they wouldn't come on site until we signed a paper. So they are the cheapest, but I don't know that it would be smart to go with another company that is telling us that there's a chance of them changing their price. So the range is $24,510 up to $41,000. But again,
sounds like your prices per square foot are quite a bit higher than what we're paying. And we're not getting cheap pavers either. We're getting very high quality pavers for our pool deck. So I'm going to suggest that I share with you our contractor's contact information and get a bid from him too. Because he's putting in one heck of a lot of pavers for us. I mean, we're probably doing between the RV pads and the pool deck and the pickleball court margins, we're probably doing 225,000 feet. And so we're getting a nice healthy volume discount, and particularly both on the labor as well as on the materials. So I'm going to share that information with you, and I would strongly recommend you get a competing bid from him.
Yeah. Dwayne, if you recall, you actually did give us your contractors, and they were, again, the lowest quote we received from anyone was about $43,000, including whatever the company, not Rockstar, because we did go with your pool contractor, Rockstar Pools.
Right.
For the resurface itself. What was the other guy's name? John
Gravier.
Gravier, yeah, John Gravier. He did give us a price, a couple $1,000s more than this for pavers. And at the last meeting, everyone discussed and sort of steered away from pavers, thinking that it may be more hassle than it's worth. So we did go through that.
Perspective, I mean, the $41,000 to $43,000. for how many square feet again was it?
4,000 roughly.
So that's $10 to $12 a square foot.
Yes.
Okay, our deck prices are about half that.
Well, your contractor wasn't when he gave us a quote.
Yeah, well, I mean, the difference is we're getting a volume discount. So what I'm suggesting is we could, I would definitely prevail upon him to offer the same volume discount to Cypress Woods, and it sounds like it might save, a couple of tens of thousands.
David, wasn't there something to do with there was extra cost thrown in there for the coping tiles and adjusting the height and stuff? I'm trying to remember that bid.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up here in a second. But that's exactly what it was. You have to, all the coping tiles have to be done with a lower profile. I'll pull up the bid and see exactly, but he was, with the discount that he said was on there because he's doing yours at the same time, was still one of our more expensive. Even for the pavers, he was more expensive than the other paver bids we got. And at the last meeting, everyone discussed pavers may not be worth doing on a deck like that, especially with the doorways.
Right.
So they have water coming
The
in
water
the doors
coming
or
in the
something.
door.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and drainage. Look, I'm open to anything, but his quote was not in our ballpark.
Well, like I say, since that time, we've contracted with him for 225,000 square feet of pavers. So we have much better prices than we started out with him too. So if you can send me the spec, I will get him to give us a best and final price based on our total volume discount.
Yeah,
All right.
I'll send you whatever you need.
All right.
Well, I don't want to waste too much more time with this. I mean, we've been putting this off and on. Let's see what he comes in with, if he can come in, but he has to get back with us something pretty quick because they're going to do the pool resurfacing. We want to get this thing underway. We've been dragging our feet trying to get it started. So if we can get a quote back reasonably, and we can schedule a quick meeting to get it approved if that's the case. Otherwise, we got to make a decision. Time to fish or cut bait.
So I have the email from him. He never provided the actual quote. He just gave us some prices in writing. So he said what we discussed, the nicer paver, similar to what you were getting, Dwayne, at least at the time, apparently was cost prohibitive for us. So he said, if you go with a more standard looking paver, the price would drop by almost $17,000 to $18,000, and then $6 a square foot to demo. So we would be at roughly $44,000 for his cheapest paver.
Did that include the coping tile?
This doesn't say specifically if it does or doesn't, but I mean, in any case, that's what he said. If we get the cheap pavers, $44,000. His quote was originally $83,000, but I guess that included the pool itself.
I have a couple questions on the bids that are there. On Soft Creek, the highest one, that they guarantee that for 20 years, but you got to spend $700 every 5 years, right? So that would be another $7,000 on top of that.
Right. Well, it's a 15-year warranty, and it's $700 every other year.
Okay, so
that's where I was leaning, Gary, because we don't want to be involved with the maintenance every couple of years, and they say 3 to 5 years, but what that Florida sun is like down there.
Yeah.
Right. And my other question was on Concrete Science and Tri-City. Both of them have to be repainted.
Yes.
Do you have any idea what that costs every time they have to repaint it?
No, we got prices all over depending on the shape of them. They said it depends on if they start to peel, and that pool deck has to be, like unpainted, all the paint pressure washed and cleaned off of it before the new paint goes on, depending on if it delaminates like our current deck, would be between $3,000 and $5,000.
So that would have to be done every 3 to 5 years, right?
Every few years, yeah, based on usage and standing water has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's going to take long to get a quote out of our guys, but I will say this, that we had fantastic variations in bid prices, and it came down to negotiating, and having a lot of volume is a very good negotiating position. And, with our 200,000 plus square feet, that's a lot of negotiating strength. So we got a very good price out of them, for our tile, and that's an upgraded tile, by the way.
But then aren't we back to the same issue? If we're doing pavers, we've got that problem with the doors.
Well, one of the solutions, and a lot of our other decks, we're going to do the same thing, leave all of that area under the awning, because that stone is still in perfect condition underneath. It doesn't even need to be restained anytime soon. But your pool deck then would sit, a half inch or so higher than that area under there. Yeah, I mean, there's always potential for it. Water can drain through pavers, just like it would with that permeable softcrete. So, pavers, if they're not going up to the doorway and you don't have to deal with lowering the concrete in front of the doorway to fit the pavers and open the pavers, it still may be an okay solution. It's just you have pavers to deal with now.
But then we have a ledge from when somebody comes out. They got to be alert.
Yeah, I think
we don't want them to fall.
The one that Dwayne is talking about, John Gravier specifically, he did say that they would have to grind down and they would slope it, so it wouldn't be much of a lip, but there will have to be some. I mean, you're going from two different surfaces, and there's no room to really put a ramp. It's not. It's just an odd setup, and it's not something that they typically do. But they said they would use thin set pavers and grind the concrete in a way to minimize the lip, but there would be potentially a lip. Until we get into it, we don't know what that would be. But either way, look, Dwayne, I'll send you what John Gravier sent me. It's two different emails explaining price and what he's providing for. I'll send it to everyone, send it to the board, and see. But his price came in again. The first one was $66,000 if you remove the pool from it, and then dropped to $44,000, which is still the most expensive. And last meeting, it didn't seem to be based on price, but everyone just discussed not doing pavers, period. But we lost Pat. Hold on. Pat, sorry about that. We lost you for a second.
So do the coping tiles have to be redone, either resurfaced or replaced? Are they that bad?
Yeah, something has to be done with them, depending on the type of deck that you do. If we're doing a paver deck, then the coping tiles have to be replaced. Most of those knockdown finishes would probably require them to be replaced. The softcrete and the softcrete one doesn't. You would just remove the finish that's on there, which is similar to the rest of the pool deck, and then they would do the rubberized coating over the existing coping tiles around the pool too. So you would have rubber all the way up to the pool.
The other thing is every one of those options raise the deck somewhat, and then we end up with a potential water problem in the welcome center.
Well, they don't all raise the deck. The pavers would be the most raised. So the softcrete's a 1/4 inch, but there's also the concrete overlay that's on there now that would be coming off. So it would be roughly the same height as that, and it can be sloped. And it's permeable, so the water will drain through it and off at whatever the low points are. And I think the same thing with the knockdown. The knockdown finish would be at the same level as our current one. So the only one that's really raising the deck is pavers. But even then, water does penetrate through pavers a little bit, right? I mean, not as good as some of the others.
Oh yeah, they definitely drain. They drain quite well.
Right, it'll drain. So I don't know that that's an issue.
During the storm, you'll get some ponding, but it would be gone in minutes.
That's how it is on my lot too. Drains right away.
What's the matter? What in the hell?
Well, so what do we know what we're thinking for today? Does this go on hold again, and we'll see if we can get an updated price from Dwayne's guy?
I'm leaning toward just awarding the bid and get it done.
Me too. I like, yeah, even though Softcrete is more expensive, I like that idea.
And
Right.
Concrete Science was less expensive for the knockdown finish. And they said for a deck of that size, it's a real small job for either of those companies. They can get in and do it really quickly for us on whatever schedule we need. So we've got a couple options to meet Rockstar Pool's timeline, which is on hold right now. I mean, he's waiting on us, but he said he's moderately flexible also.
So when can
they'll do the pool first and then the deck?
Well, was going to be stages. They wanted the deck coping tiles done first because that sets the level of the tiles inside of the pool. But if we're going with some of these knockdown finishes where they don't have to replace the coping tiles, just resurface them, then nothing changes and they can really be done on any sort of schedule. But everyone did recommend that the finishing of the deck happens after the finishing of the pool. That way you don't get, all the plaster and whatever else they use to resurface the pool on the brand new pool deck. It's much easier to clean the pool out than it is to clean the deck off from that stuff.
David, do you feel that the coping tiles and the drains are in good enough condition to resurface?
So no, if we were doing a knockdown finish, the drains would have to be replaced as well, which is why those companies included prices for them. If you do the Softcrete, he said we would just go right over top of your drain with it and the water will permeate into the drains. They just need to be cleaned out first, but they're not in good condition. And they're not a product that can be replaced in its current capacity. You'd have to cut out a whole new one if you were doing that. They can be cleaned out, but as far as replacing them with new caps and things like that is there's no way to do that. But again, Softcrete does not require a drain. They'll just go right over top and the water permeates through and the drain will still function below the Softcrete. Concrete Science gave a price to put in a new drain.
So you feel the copings are in good enough condition just to resurface?
Yeah, it's cracking, but it's the same delaminating as the rest of the pool deck, where there's that thin 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 inch concrete decorative coating on top of it that wraps around to the underside. We chipped off one of the areas that was already cracked and chipping away to verify, and there may be a couple cracks that need to be repaired in it at that time, but you won't know until all of the current concrete coating is removed. But right now doesn't seem to be any need to replace those from any of these companies that do a resurface as opposed to changing the deck.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a lot of different products, so there's no real apples to apples
right
bids other than the two painted knockdown finishes. Everything else is sort of a different product.
I think we ought to get a bid and make it go. Let's get it going.
I think for my money, we go with the Softcrete.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely the nicest finish for sure. It's a big upgrade. I mean, Judy and Steve can see the samples in here. They're colorful. They have lots of colors to choose from, and we can deal with all that. But it's not just a cheap, hey, we have to do this to keep the pool open. That is a actual upgrade over what we have anywhere else. So makes sense to me.
I make a motion that we go with that.
For a second.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the ayes have it. We got that done. All right, the next mess. Royal Palm replacement quotes. my computer just shut down, so I had to jump onto my iPad. So I'm trying to cycle back and forth between the quotes. So, David, you want to go through those quotes so I don't have to keep cycling back and forth?
Yeah, so everyone knows we had Royal Palms over in the sort of Royal Palm Circle in D. 5 of them died. Arrow, our fertilizer company, accepted responsibility because they knew from the beginning that there was a manganese deficiency. They told us there was a manganese deficiency. They treated for a year and thought they were doing treatments with extra manganese for the deficiency. And when they went back and checked the files and their treatment methods and whatever else, turns out they weren't giving us what was needed. They saw that clearly. They admitted, and with the help of my grounds committee, Bob Lukes and John McCormick, we had a couple meetings with them, and they agreed to pay for the replacement of those 5 palm trees. Prices came in higher than they expected. They turned it into their insurance company. We got a quote for Newell to do the work, and we would have just had Newell do the work, but there should be a Newell bid in here unless it's out of order. Newell was not prepared to give us any sort of warranty for those trees.
I have it.
You do have it in there?
It's not in your packet, but I printed it yesterday.
Oh, where it went
They're 10,000,
specifically?
Newell is 10,915.
Yeah, so we were given a check from the insurance company for $10,915 to do the work. They don't offer a warranty, but their prices, if we have to replace another one of these trees out of pocket in the next couple of years because something happens, they would still be less expensive than any of the other bids we got from Mr. Palm Tree, Juniper, or
Mainscape.
Mainscape. And Mainscape was actually a third-party contractor. Mm-hmm. They went and they said, look, we would charge you a markup, so we did the work for you. Here's the bid from them, and you can go directly through them. Okay. And, if they're doing the maintenance, they would honor the same year warranty and all that. So, the way the prices came in, especially with the size of tree that Newell quoted, which was close to 20 feet of gray wood, which is higher than what most of the others did.
Right.
Their price is untouchable. I mean, Newell's just they're too cheap. I mean, you can't beat them. But you don't get a warranty, so it's a gamble of having to, if they die again, replace out of pocket.
Well, if they die again, if Arrow still fertilize them and they make the same mistake, they're going to be in the same boat.
Yeah, agreed. It may be harder to prove that. They'll, cross their T's and dot their I's, because you can always have a fungus that takes hold and kills it a year or two later, and there's nothing that Arrow can do about that. We would have to go through the same test with Lee County, but Lee County's test verified no fatal funguses in the soil, no diseases that should have killed them. The only thing he found that could and would have killed it was the manganese deficiency. But
I can see where they gave a warranty.
There is a warranty on all of them.
One Mr. Palm got a
Mr. Palm
year.
Tree's got a warranty.
Yeah, his is 1 year. Juniper, there's more pages to the ones the ones that I sent out. This is just the part with the money. Oh. But there was, I think, a 6-month warranty with Juniper and maybe a 6-month warranty with the other one. But honestly, at that price, I think there's no reason to spend the extra money up front. Just go with our landscaper. Let them do their job.
Yeah, I agree with that too, Pat.
I make a motion.
Can we get a motion on that?
I make a motion to accept the bid from Newell Lawn Care for replacement of those trees for $10,915.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, the infamous ice machine. I guess we've beat this thing enough.
It's broken twice.
Yeah, you said that. So and nobody's even used it that much. So it's just, that was the one we took out of the kitchen that was the social committees, because it was a bigger unit. We had a bigger hopper and they had a unit that would produce more ice, but that's been quite a few years back also. Anyhow, this one is a 500-pound unit with a 5-year warranty, and it's $2,900. So the season's coming. We probably spend almost that much on repairs.
The repairs have all been fairly inexpensive. Like the most expensive was $500, but there's been from the $500 one, 2 additional $200 repairs. And one of those did include the freezer. I mean, but we're bleeding money here. I mean, it's not working properly when people need it, and it's cost us say $700 since the last meeting in May.
Yeah, I think we should just get it over with.
And this does not include a new bin. Where he said the old bin is in perfect condition. We'll still be using that. It's just a new cuber head, whatever they call that part.
Head unit, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Any discussion? All right, Gary.
I'll make a motion. We buy the new ice machine replacement for $2,900.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, moving right along. Additional audio quote for Town Center Pool Pro Audio with 5 new speakers and a new attenuator and installation hardware, $1,742.98. This is another thing I've been bouncing back and forth with. I thought we had approved this at one point, but actually we had approved just getting new speakers, but the speakers didn't work with old amplifiers. So it's another Band-Aid approach. So we probably ought to get this thing fixed right once and for all. Hello?
How many more Band-Aids we gonna need, Pat? Any idea?
This
Well,
isn't a
there's
Band-Aid,
still
Gary. This is just letting the pros do it the right way once and for all and not try to save anything. And we can repurpose, the speakers and things that are out there for the other building that has no audio. It would be pretty easy to get audio over there with, minimal stuff. I mean, we could do a sort of a budget system over there if we wanted to reuse all that and when we're doing the rest of the system, but
yeah, I didn't mean
this should be a final fix.
I didn't mean this was a Band-Aid fix, Gary. I said we've been Band-Aiding it. This is really part of what the proposal from the audio visual group was. They had sent us. This is one of the items on there that they wanted. So we'll just chip away with it.
It's part of that $20,000 from last year, Gary.
Yeah, well, I voted for the others. The only thing I'm wondering is maybe Band-Aid was the wrong word, but how many more proposals do we have to fix this audio system?
Well, we had one for 20,000, and we've been chipping away at it instead of just approving it. Are you making a motion to approve $20,000, Gary Washburn? No.
No.
I tried.
Oh, Gary did?
I think
Gary, are you smoking something?
I didn't. I asked how many more there were.
Oh, they said you made a motion to approve $20,000.
No, that's Joe.
It was one, but we've only been piecing that one proposal together as opposed to just letting them come in and do $20,000 worth of work. So there may be several. It's a lot of separate line items on there that we're just doing as needed as opposed to all at once.
But this takes care of that section of the pool issue.
Yes.
The rest of it is within the clubhouse there, within the welcome to the town center there with some audio visual stuff.
Correct. This should take care of everything on the outside of that pool area and get us working 100% from the pros, not letting me or Chris touch it.
There you go.
Well, you got a valiant effort.
Let's do it.
Well, next
All right,
year
Gary,
we'll
we got a
have
motion.
next year we'll have more
I'll make the
resources.
motion.
We can
Make a
finish the rest
motion
of the program.
Did Pat hear that?
I don't
I
think
think
Pat heard
somebody
that.
talked over you, Dwayne. What was that again?
I was just saying that next year we're going to have more resources with more members contributing HOA fees. So I think this would maybe be a good, the rest of that stuff is something we can put in our 2022 budget.
Good point.
Agreed.
All right. And Steve, did I hear a motion?
Yeah, let's
I
make
said I'd make a motion.
Oh, Joe made a motion.
I'll
Somebody
second it.
whoever, whatever.
All right.
I'll
John
second it.
Second it.
Everyone motioned, everyone seconded. Got it.
All in favor?
I
Aye.
Okay. Opposed? All right. All right. Last item we have is the maintenance area relocation status, which is still status quo, not really much going on. We're still dealing with the county. We have acquired a container in the storage area for use by the maintenance staff for storage, and at least that gives them something to do while we explore other options. So we have to figure out a place for the cardboard dumpster, which is probably one of the biggest headaches we have. We probably could get away without that, but right now we're not jumping into a full blown maintenance area till we get some other answers. And that is all I have.
Well, getting anything out of the country is like pulling, or out of the county is like pulling teeth. I mean, it takes forever to get permits and even responses to comments. So you're in the same boat with everybody else in the county.
Yeah, they never got back to us with the other proposal about moving getting some relief from the setback. So, all right, we're into the open discussion period. Unless anybody on the board have anything, I'm sorry.
Well, I have a question, Pat. When do we'd like to get moving ahead with the association document rewrite. Could we go ahead and schedule like a workshop today? I mean, for whenever we can do it.
I sent Mitch has all the documents from your attorney, right. And I sent him the board's comments, and actually the day after we finished up with the arbitration with the mediation hearing with Barlow. So I told him to look it over, get his comments together, and then we'll have to sit down and hash it out. So I'll give him a rattle this week and see how he's making out with it.
Actually, I don't think I was copied on the board comments. Is that something you could resend to me? I'll recall.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, it's.
I wasn't either.
They were all on the Gmail link.
I thought I did, David. All right.
Pat, you sent it to me afterwards, but I wasn't on the original, or it was maybe flagged on my system. But I do have it now, Pat. Thanks.
Okay. All right. I'll send you what we have, Wayne. What the board's comments were.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some of the questions, but I didn't know if that was what you sent on to Mr. Haler. So.
Well, basically, yeah, it's questions.
Okay.
All right, but I'll send them anyhow so you have. Anybody else?
We've got looks like 2 in the room that'll have comments or questions.
Okay. They got the floor.
It's coming up. It's a big room.
They sit in the back like church.
Good morning, everybody. Now, I have missed some of the meetings last year because of your being the way it is. So maybe this has been addressed. But how about the hot tub at the Welcome Center? The jets don't seem to be working.
You sure? As of when?
Well,
they were going down. We put a new air pump on there, and
when was this? As I said, I may have missed this.
I mean, a couple months ago.
Oh, a couple months ago. Okay, so we'll try it out again because I had family visiting and they were trying to use it, and it just kind of swirled around.
Oh yeah, it should be 100% right.
We'll check it out. Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Easy enough.
We've
got one more. Actually, when we put those new air pumps on, it was so powerful. It's a unit that sits on top of a pipe and blows through our jets. It was so powerful that it actually lifted the unit off into the air and ended up on the ground. We had to strap the whole head units down. So yeah, there's a ton of power in there now. All right, Jack.
Okay, I'm still concerned about the rejuvenation. Apparently nobody but me and a couple other ones have looked into spending $77,000 for a product that the state of Florida, from what I was told, does not even endorse or use. The counties in the state of Florida does not use it or endorse it. It is a product basically used in parking lots where cars are sitting around, dripping oil, fuel, gas, and whatever, and deteriorating the blacktop, which we do not have that problem. It is a mistake to spend $77,000 for this when it could be put in a reserve account and used in a couple of years when E's done, and try to work with them people to put a finished coat of blacktop on this. Now, the road repairs, absolutely, they need to be done and done right. But it's a waste of time and money. And I would like for the board to have David poll the members, the owners of Cypress Woods to get their feedback if they want to spend $77,000 for a Band-Aid that does nothing.
Can we also say, would you rather spend $600,000 to resurface your roads? That should be part of the question. We did this thing 7 years ago, Jack, when the roads were starting to actually, the asphalt was actually starting to, there was just aggregate was coming through, and those roads have held for 7 years. If we can buy another 7 years for $77,000, that's $7,000 or $10,000 a year. And we can save some money and get this place. And then when Laguna Creek tacks on, we can have some more money in the coffers to start doing the roads a little bit at a time. But for you to say that it's a waste of money and a waste of time, we've already proven that it's worked here for 7 years. It may not be something the state approves, because what the hell, they don't care whose money they spend, it ain't theirs. And it may not be something they use, because they have the money to go resurface it. We're in a different position. And to say that nobody on the board's looked at it, we looked at it when it first came up.
Well,
and we looked at it for 7 years.
7 years, but it didn't work for 7 years. Within 2 years, that black was gone, and you could see right down into the core of the asphalt.
Jack, it's an injection. I saw it out in Vegas work very, very well. You know, they say 5 years, as Pat said, we got 7 out of it. To extend the life, I think it is well worth it. It's not just putting a coating on top. It's, you know, it puts the oils back in, and you know, I think that you know, it has its applications. It's not just parking lots. Usually, that's just an asphalt spray they put on.
I don't know this product. I wasn't here when it was used last time, so I don't know much about it. But I just want to clarify. Pat, you said 600,000 for the roads. That was a 2018 number given, and everyone that we've talked to since then has really said you're probably looking closer to $1 million, like 900 to $1 million to do the roads. And that was all before, well, the 2020 price increases on everything. So just so we're talking real numbers here, that may actually be $1.5 million at this point if we were going to do it in the next few years. I don't know if they'll come back down, but just so we're talking about more accurate numbers, because 600,000, honestly, I mean, for a place like this, it's a lot, but it's doable if you had to do it, you know, in a couple of years instead of that. But $1.5 million changes things, I think.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Well, the 77,000 buys some time to examine our options, and if it takes us a couple, 3 years to get accurate estimates and so forth, I think it's valuable to have at least something that's aesthetically, you know, better than what we have now, and knowing that, you know, eventually we're going to have to do a complete resurfacing.
Right.
Well, I disagree with you, but hey, you guys call the shots.
All right, Jack, thanks for your comment. We appreciate it. Interest.
if anyone, I mean, we have a lot of people watching and listening. So if people have comments, they'll email me about it. They do after all the meetings. So we'll get some sort of idea anyway.
And maybe somebody would like to look at this stuff. It's
Sure.
the information from them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and we had so many new people. They probably don't even know what it looked like.
Speaking of new people, we've got one right here.
Hi, how you doing? I'd like to say good morning to
Make
everyone.
sure you're
the
a
board of
little into the
directors.
microphone.
The
there.
board
You
of
can pull it towards you.
directors. I'm one of the most recent property owner at D74. My name is Carl. I've been in Miami for 30 years, and I'm a proud owner here now at Cypress Woods. I'd like to ask, there's been a lot of motions approved here today, if maybe I can put a couple of things out that, maybe we can look into. The first time I came here with my motorhome, I pulled up to the gate, and I've been working around big commercial vehicles for quite some time in my life, where they have a raised, I guess,
fob
the
for the card
electronics.
reader.
Because when I pulled up to the gate, I opened the window and I couldn't reach to get inside the community. So I had to go out my passenger door, run around, and then come back into the RV, sit down, take it out, put it in drive, release the brake. And then before I got to the second gate, I had to do the same thing all over again. But I mean, to put a raised electronic board, because this is a resort with motorhomes. And I think that it should be something that should be at the access gate.
You're not the first person to ask for that, but
Can that be done? Can we?
it can be
Yes.
done. Yeah.
I've seen it done on commercial properties where they have like big tractor trailers that have to open
Yeah,
a gate.
they wire them to. It'll just be
Yeah.
wired to the one that's
Mhm.
already in there on the same tower, just above it, so cars can still
Yes.
use the lower one. I can get a price on it just so we know
Yeah,
what
we
we're
should check
working
that
with.
out.
Sure. I think
Um,
Actions quoted it before, so
Oh, okay.
it probably exists. We just haven't done it.
I would consider looking at an RFID system too, David, so that you don't have to open and shut your windows to hold up any kind of mag card. I don't know if
Sure.
you're familiar with them, but that basically it mounts somewhere on the outside of your vehicle, and if you're anywhere within like 10 or 12 feet proximity, it reads it and deals with it.
Yeah, Dwayne, we did look at that when we were looking at options for the new gate system. And I think, when it came down to the price of replacing 471 lots worth of cars, 900 of them, it became cost prohibitive. But those systems don't have to be, replacements. They can be in addition to maybe the swipe card setup instead. So you could still run barcodes for regular cars and things like that if you wanted, or get your choice. I mean, and transition.
Yeah, that's a good point. In fact, if you just whatever the price is, $20 a vehicle or whatever it is, that could just be an option that people, hey, if I don't feel like opening my car windows, I just buy this for $20 and I'm done.
Yeah, and phase out the old system really is what it could do.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't have
I'd
to
look
force
into
everyone to do it at once.
Right.
Like a key fob. Yeah.
Well, he's talking like the little sticker that reads it automatically, like SunPass. When you pull up, boom, it opens up.
There you
for
go. Yeah, well, they have them. I've seen them before.
Yeah. Okay.
David, is there a limit on how many things you can address? Because
You
I'm
have a
speaking-
time limit.
I'm speaking for myself and someone who can't be here, 841.
Okay.
So I would just I have two things and he has two things.
Go quick.
All right. In the lakes that we have like the cattails and the lake weeds that are coming up.
Mhm.
And you know what's happening when they cut the grass is going into the lake and it's getting caught around all the weeds and it's creating a nice breeding ground for mosquitoes. I don't know if you can get someone in here to control that and kill the weeds.
We weeds. No, those are littoral plants that are required to be there, and we have the bare minimum that we're riding that line of not in compliance with those. They want more, but we did have Lee County Mosquito District come in, and I don't know if they've been here to treat locally, but they did the overhead treatments, and they're coming to treat all of our standing water.
All right, I have one more myself then too for A41. I have a motorcycle and it's $51,000. And I know that when you cover these motorcycles down here in the state of Florida with the humidity, my previous motorcycle was literally destroyed from the humidity that builds up and they stay wet underneath these covers. What I'm asking is they make a cover that has some ribs on it that you can just pick up and bring the motorcycle in and pull it down. Now, this cover is no bigger than what you would use for a golf cart. A golf cart would actually fit inside this cover, and it would fit perfectly around a golf cart itself. The reason for this is because I would put a dehumidifier inside to keep the motorcycle dry. The other thing is, with a fitted cover, they tend to wear the paint because the wind blows the cover around and it destroys the finish of the paint on the motorcycle. I know I'm new. I don't want to sound like a big complainer or anything, but I mean, I care about my property, and I want to keep it clean, especially like, my motorcycle or my RV. It's an investment that I think is worth it to keep your property clean.
We had something like that in here before, and the board required them to remove them.
Well, the reason I'm here asking is why wouldn't that be approved? I mean, it just has a rib that holds the canvas away from the motorcycle, so that when it's blowing wind, you're not having the canvas itself rubbing against the motorcycle continuously.
Are they permanent? I mean, Judy, the one that was here
they're not
before,
permanent. They
it
can
just
be
sits there.
disassembled.
They're almost like what he's talking about.
They can be disassembled in 5 minutes. And like I said, if you put a golf cart in it, it would be no bigger than the size of a golf cart cover being put over a golf cart. As a matter of fact, you can put a golf cart in it, and you wouldn't know if there was a motorcycle or a golf cart in it.
What's your name?
Carl.
Carl.
Yeah.
Carl, why don't you do a little research and bring some information so we can look at it? Bring some pictures.
Yeah, bring us.
Bring us some pictures so we can
Send
see
me
it.
the website, brochure, whatever you got.
I can show you a picture of it. Yes.
Yeah, I think the board should look at that.
But we do have architectural standards, and we start doing that, so we end up with a problem. Screening rooms and everything else that we're taking out.
Yeah, I understand, and I own a property in Miami, and it's a gated community with an association. Over the years, at one time, satellite dishes were not approved, or aluminum roofs on their houses. And, in time, these things had to be improved because this is, the things that are being created. And this is a way we watch TV now, is with satellite dishes. And we put aluminum roofs.
Oh, yeah.
We put aluminum roofs now to prolong the
Let's
roof.
move on.
Yeah.
Okay. So now in the new community that's going up, they're allowed to have some things that we're not allowed to have. I've been parked here now for a couple of weeks, and my air conditioners haven't shut off once, and I can't even get the RV to cool down. But in each section that's going up, they're going to be allowed to have sun sails. This would protect our investment, and it would also protect, lower our energy bills to have a sun sail over the RV like they're going to have in.
I don't know what a sun sail is.
Just like those things at the pool.
Oh.
Well, I'm just asking to put, if we can just put these things out. The last thing I have was the gazebo tops, the canvas tops, and why we have to remove them if we're going to be gone for 2 weeks. I've heard why, but if you look across the street, we have casitas with awnings around them, and they have a canvas on them, and they don't have to be removed. Now, we're all getting older, and the last thing we want to do is, when we arrive here, is to put a canvas top on our gazebo, our 12 by 16 gazebo. It's not easy when we get older and we're retired, because you're exhausted when you do that. The gazebo tops have an opening on the top so that the air can flow through. Okay? The first thing that'll rip a top off from a hurricane is not having an opening in the top. Just like a house. If the windows blow out in the front, it'll push the roof right off. The thing you need to do is you need to break the back windows out to have a vacuum and the air gets sucked out. All right? I don't know why these things are not allowed, but I think they should be, because older people can't be doing that. And you have canvases around your casitas here, and they don't have an opening in the center of their roof, these awnings. Those will break off.
They're designed for hurricane proof. They are spec'd out that way.
Yeah, our current rule doesn't have the 2 week timeline. It just says an extended absence during the month of June through November all soft top gazebos, curtains, and screens must be removed and stored inside. So there's not a time limit on it at the moment, but it does say extended periods. I wasn't here for Irma. I mean, did any of those things turn into sales and fly away?
Well, all the soft tops were off. The only gazebo I think that we really lost was on D2.
Mm-hmm.
I've been through a number of hurricanes. When you have a canvas top, normally they might break off on one side and they'll fall down on the other and hit the ground. They're not going to go flying to the A section of Cypress Woods from D section. They're going to land on the ground and they're going to stay there.
R&Rs will be rewritten when the docs are done or re-recorded at that point. So if the board and through some of these workshops wants to make that change and not require soft tops be removed anymore, sort of leave it on at your own risk. If you want it destroyed in a summertime storm, that's up to you. But the time to change it would be at one of those workshops. You couldn't do it now.
Okay.
So it'll be discussed.
Thank you very much. And I'll show you a picture of that.
Well,
I think it's probably important, however, David, to state that the rewrite of the association documents is not intended to be a rewrite of everything that governs, Cypress Woods. It's essentially the intent of the rewrite was to do two things. One was to get rid of all the sort of the garbage that built up over the decades with all the amendments to where it makes it really hard to follow and read and understand the documents. And the second part was simply to acknowledge the Laguna Creek sub-HOA. So we purposely stayed away from trying to go in and change architectural standards or park rules or any of those things, because if we try to do that, we'll be at this for the next 3 years. And, we have to have these done by the end of September. So people need to understand that this isn't designed to be a reinvention of everything that has been governing us for the last 20 some years.
Right. Well, this is also, it is the time, and these are going to have to be voted on and passed by the HOA also. So if there's things in there that collectively the community wants to remove from the use restrictions and things like that, they would have to be removed for it to pass anyways. I mean, again, it's something to look at, but rules and regs, it's the time to re-record them and put it all together. If you're changing the covenants, we'll have to change the rules and regs because they're based on.
Right.
Well, just so it's clear, we're not changing anything in the declaration that affects the use of the properties in our proposal. And we intentionally chose not to. And I guarantee that if you try to turn this into a let's revise the whole world of freaking regulations, this will be a 3-year process and that won't work. So if the public wants, or not the public, but the members want to go in and study and consider and debate various and sundry changes to the declarations, that can be done after we get the documents restated and amended, because there's nothing to stop us from making future amendments. But there's just no way we can go in and reconsider everything, because I guarantee 471 lot owners are going to have 471 pet peeves that they're going to want to see addressed, and we'll be at this for years.
Pat, you're breaking up very badly.
I don't know if that was Pat or Gary.
It's Pat.
Yeah, Pat, we're losing you. We maybe time to call it. We can't hear you anymore. Anything else?
Anything else? Anybody else have anything? Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Good enough.
All right.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.
All right.
Aye.